This is U.S. immigration attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now. So today I'm only focusing on questions. So put your questions in the comments now. My number, if you want to get in touch with me, is at the top of the screen on TikTok in the comment section. It's running along the bottom of the screen on YouTube and Facebook. And it is, you can always access the number on the homepage of Instagram, or you can look at the videos and you'll see the description of the videos in the comments. You'll see the phone number. All right. So the best way you're going to get help is by scheduling your appointment with us and being able to talk to us. So it's me and attorney Bria, and we are here to help you. But we are depending on you to reach out to us. Our goal is to help as many people as we can, and that's exactly what we're achieving. So go ahead, you're always welcome here, and always be able to depend on us to give you the advice you need and to move forward with your case. So now, what I'm going to do is answer some questions. So put those questions in the comments. I'm waiting on your question. So what's your price for filing marriage adjustment? So we don't provide quotes until we actually do a consultation. The consultation is 150. And the reason why that's important is because there's no one size fits all. And I think that creates a lot of that approach creates a lot of problems for immigrants in the marriage-based process. So we first want to evaluate your case, make sure that you qualify, that everything looks good, and then we provide the quote. So you can go ahead, give us a call. How can one get a green card if her husband doesn't is or willing isn't willing to sign divorce papers for her? She has been living without a work permit. Give us a call now. Is this spouse a U.S. citizen? If this spouse is a U.S., I mean, there are ways, and you may want to talk to a divorce attorney as well, because there are ways to still move forward with the divorce process, even if the spouse won't sign the papers. So you may want to talk to a divorce attorney about that. But in regards to immigration, we would want to talk to you to figure out what the situation is. Is this spouse a US citizen or a green card holder? Because that could mean that you could qualify for VAWA if this is a part of a pattern of behavior to, cause extreme hardship, extreme cruelty on you. Can you or your spouse live in different states and file adjustment of status? So I would say there's no straightforward answer to this. This is where we would want to talk to you to figure out what your circumstances are, because it is a red flag. Living in two different states is a major red flag for immigration, and you really have to approach that. You have to approach the application with solid information or evidence supporting why you are a married couple planning to live your lives together, building a life together, but yet you're living in different states. Spouses on Social Security. What other financial support can you use for immigration interview? You'll probably now Social Security, if it does meet the minimum requirement, the minimum income requirements, they can still go for it. But if it doesn't meet the minimum income requirements, you're going to want to have a co-sponsor, so somebody who joins and shows their income and shows they make enough to support you. Is IG in your bio? I think it is, but I am immigration lawyer Sharifa on Instagram, and keep in mind that there have been scammers that have been impersonating me. So make sure that you see that blue check mark next to me. That means it's verified. That's the official account on Instagram. All right. I'm a Canadian permanent resident. Please suggest the easiest way to get US work permit. I've been wanting to experience life in the US. So being a Canadian permanent resident alone isn't gonna get you papers. There is, while it's not a green card, it does allow you to work here, the TN visa. That's one way if you do belong to one of the professions that allows you to come into the US to work within one of those positions. So that may be a good way for you to come to the US to work. But other than that, there's no way, being a Canadian, there's no way to just automatically qualify unless, of course, you qualify for the TN visa. All right. Keep putting those questions in the comments. That's what I'm here. Um, so when are we going to have the update for parole, marry with citizens? So we're still waiting. We know that the launch date is August 19th, but we're still waiting for more information. So we haven't seen the landing page where they issue the forms and where they're going to file. So let's see. Quote for the consultation, 150. Go ahead, call the office. They'll be more than happy to help. Or go to the link in the profile on TikTok, on YouTube, Facebook. Go to the description of the video in the below the video. You'll see the link there. On Instagram, it's in the profile page. Go there. You'll see Linktree with all the buttons to schedule your own appointment. After sending in medical for green card through VAWA, how long will it take to get the green card? So it can take 2 to 4 months after that. What if someone is in the US 9 years, never married, does not have a green card? Could you help? We've helped our clients who have been in this situation, but keep in mind, just being here for 9 years, never married, and you want a green card, that alone is not enough information for me to determine whether you qualify for a way to get your papers. But we have represented clients in that same situation, but they face additional circumstances that allowed them to get the work permit. So this is where I say, go ahead, make that investment. That is where many of my clients that thought that they had no hope, thought they had no options. That's where my clients started. That's where they found out they had options, and how it's basically the beginning of their story as to how they got the work permit and status here. Can I travel with advanced parole? If you have advanced parole, that's what it's there for. However, if you're nervous about traveling for some reason, you need to make sure you get legal advice. Is it really safe to travel internationally with I-751 letter? Yes, the extension letter. Now, when you're traveling on the I-751 extension letter, that means you're going from the 2-year to the 10-year. And when you apply for the 10-year, you got the receipt notice with the extension. Make sure you are traveling with the original document. Don't take copies. So if you have an attorney, make sure you get the original from the attorney and travel with that original document with your card. After applying for FOA, how long will you get advanced parole? So if you're applying for emergency, you could get it in as little as 4 weeks, but if you are waiting the usual time, it can be anywhere from 9 months to 12 months, or I would say it can range from 6 months to 12 months. My I-130 was approved, but now it says closed. Should I be concerned? That's not enough information for me to understand what's going on. It could be closed at the USCIS, and they're now moving it forward to the National Visa Center, or so you should call them to figure out the status to make sure the status remains the same. If I'm not married, can I apply for a work permit? We have clients who are not married who can apply for the work permit, but just being unmarried alone is not going to get you the work permit. This is where the consultation is very important, because we have to ask you more questions to figure out if you do qualify for the work permit in the other ways that you may qualify. After getting advanced parole, do I go 2 or 3 times? can go 2 or 3 times out of the US. I wouldn't be able to answer that. It really depends on your circumstances and your risk factors. What is the meaning of an I-824? So, in order to move your application from or documentation from the United States to the national, sometimes that happens where the paperwork really should not be in the US, it needs to be at the National Visa Center. You have to then file an I-824 to get it transferred. How long is the time frame for removal of status for 10 years? I would say 2 to 4 years right now. That's why they're giving 4 year extensions. Hi there, Danielle. Nice to see you. Hi there, Alton. Um, Austin, I answered yours. And Sanjner, definitely make sure you get in touch so we can talk to you about your circumstances. What are some questions asked at the US Embassy if you are approved for I-360? So, as a widower, so keep in mind that they still want to focus on the bona fide. So they still want to make sure that you do qualify for this based on marriage, even though your spouse has passed. So make sure you carry any additional evidence with you. Make sure you carry your original documentation. Now, another thing to note though, at this stage, once they've approved the petition, they're also focusing on other ways you qualify because you've already been approved. I mean, not to say they're not going to do a second check. Sometimes they still do a second check, but they're going to focus on your history, make sure you don't have anything that's going to disqualify you from getting your immigrant visa to travel. Good morning. Once you receive correspondence from NVC, can you make payments and wait to submit a requisite documents? If so, how long can you wait to submit? So as soon as you pay, they're probably about a day later, a couple hours later, they're going to open up the portal where you can start uploading your documents. We mailed RFE for I-130 on Monday. How long does it take to get response from immigration? We just got our approval 2 weeks after we sent it. So they moved pretty quickly. Thank you. Yes, it's an extreme cruelty. Yes, greatly appreciated. Definitely give us a call. Please let me know when you find out because I'm asking for a friend that's from Montreal and would like to be in the USA. So give us a call. If that friend needs further assistance, give us a call. How long for a VAWA EAD? I'd say it ranges from 6 months to 12 months. I have a biometrics appointment for my asylum case. However, I'm about to get married to a US citizen. Do you think I should still go through? I wouldn't be able to answer that because I'm not your attorney and I don't know what your case is. So I wouldn't be able to answer that, advise you about whether you should attend. It's always prudent to make sure you attend your appointments. Even if you don't know what's going to happen in the future with your case, but I cannot tell you specifically what to do. But for me and my clients, if a biometrics appointment is set, we go, right? My clients go. I make sure they go to the appointment, and then if we have doubts about the case later on, then we'll address it then, but at least we're still meeting the requirements of the USCIS. So for example, what if, God forbid, I hope not, but what if the marriage gets delayed? What if something happens that maybe you don't end up getting married at the time that you thought you were going to get married? Then you didn't show up for your biometrics, and then they decided to deny it. And then furthermore, keep in mind that you can get your work permit. You can get your work permit based on the asylum, but if you don't show up for the biometrics, that is going to now cause what's called the asylum clock to stop, meaning you are going to face a longer period of time to get your work permit. So, I would say it's really stacked towards making sure you meet the requirements, making sure you make your appointments, especially a biometrics appointment, and then figure it out afterwards. But get legal, get specific, personalized legal advice. Because once again, I'm not your attorney and I can't tell you specifically. What if I'm in the US Virgin Islands, undocumented for over 5 years, been working a stable job? How is it possible for me to get documented? So, unfortunately, they don't have any pathways just based on working and being here for a while. But we have gotten relief for our clients who have been doing the right thing. And in the midst of that, they've also faced circumstances that allow them to get relief. So make sure you get legal advice. Let's talk. Um, I came to the US on B1, B2, still within my visa 6 months period. Can I marry and file before my 6 month stay duration is up? That's a common practice. That is possible, but I can't stress enough. Give us a call, schedule your appointment, and let's talk. We can talk to you and your fiance about this first to make sure it's the right move. How could my lawyer help me at reentry with my AP in case something happens at the border? So, this is why you should evaluate your risk before, because once you're at the border, your access to an attorney is going to be restricted. And it really sometimes is based on luck. Sometimes you may get an officer that's willing to have you speak to the attorney or who's willing to maybe have with a lawyer, but many times that's not going to be the case. So you want to make sure that you know your risk, you're prepared for those risks before you leave the country. How long does a citizen sister file for a brother? A friend said it can take 10 to 12 months. So more like 13, 14 years. Um, Good morning. Do you do H-2B visas in country extensions? So no, we don't. At this time, we're not doing that. I just had my E2 renewal status updated to refused. I am the principal owner of real estate management firm that's been operating for 10 years in the US. So this is where you definitely need to get in touch with us because we would have to understand what happened and see if that can be fixed. How could my lawyer help me at reentry? Okay, so I answered that. What would be my next step? I've superseded all requirements, so definitely get in touch with us. That whenever you have a denial, that's where we have to understand why they issued the denial, and then from there, would have to see if that situation can be fixed quickly. Because remember that once it's denied, then it's a matter of you have to preserve your status, and you have to do it quickly. Um, can I apply for tourism visa to Canada while I have a VAWA pending? Does this give me legal status? So with VAWA, if you have a travel document, then you'll definitely need a visa to visit Canada. If you have a travel document under VAWA and you get the visa, then yes, you'd be able to travel on that travel document and be able to get back. So we're located in Boca Raton and we have an office. So I'm in Delray. We have an office in Boca and that's our base, but we represent clients all over the country. Does it matter where I do medical? I recently got married. Yes, it matters where you do the medical. It has to be an authorized physician by the USCIS. You can go to the website and there's a tool to search for the doctors that are authorized. What evidence can be provided for abandonment in VAWA case? We have to talk more about your circumstances, but it's going to be your no, without a doubt, your declaration detailing the pattern of behavior that led up to the abandonment. And then also you can get an evaluation done that talks about the effect on you. That's usually a professional way for the officers to understand how the abandonment amounted to extreme cruelty and how it impacted you emotionally as well. So give us a call. We're very good at this. So give us a call. Let's talk about it. My girlfriend is a US citizen and she only has 1 year worth of filing taxes, which is last year, and now she's currently unemployed. If we got married, would that be a problem? Yes, it could be a problem, especially if you did not have you don't have somebody else that can join in as a joint sponsor, then you're going to have a problem. And one thing is, usually when there's a problem with the affidavit of support, everything else gets delayed. So you want to make sure you get that right. The affidavit of support is a document you have to submit showing income, who has the income to financially support you. I filed I-130, but now my wife's trying to give me a hard time and I find her cheating on me, been using me. Can I still get the green card? Yes, through VAWA. You can switch from I-130 process to the VAWA process. And if you do it very quickly, you can preserve your adjustment of status application, your work permit, so you can continue working and continue renewing the same work permit and your travel document. But we have to do it quickly because we have to file the VAWA. We have to contact the USCIS to inform them that no, this is a VAWA case, so they should hold your I-130, your I-485 in place while you are waiting for the VAWA to be approved. Good day. My 2 year green card expires in January 2025. Our 3 year anniversary is in October 2024. Can we apply for citizenship? Should we apply for removal of conditions? Absolutely. You need to apply for removal of conditions. You're not going to get to citizenship unless they see removal, that you have at least a removal of conditions application, the I-751 application on file. And sometimes what they do is then they call you in for the interview and then they'll do both at the same time. So I say absolutely make sure you do that. Make sure you do it on time, and then you can file for citizen. So you're supposed to really apply for the removal of conditions at the 1 year and 9 month mark, right? That's when you can, from the period of time that you should be applying for the removal of conditions is 3 months, within 3 months before the expiration. So make sure you file on time and then file for citizenship. I have a green card. I want to help my cousin. He is coming to America as soon as possible. You wouldn't be able to sponsor a cousin. I got married to a US citizen in July. When should I send in paperwork for the green card? I wouldn't, there's nothing that says you can't do it now, but I want to understand your circumstances to be able to better advise you about the timing. This is where it's very important to schedule an appointment and talk to us. My sister is on an H-2B visa. Her visa is up in September and she got in the USA. When she got in the US, she was out of work for 2 weeks before her sponsor employer who bring her up got a job for her. He's the one. So give us a call. Something sounds fishy about that. Um, okay, because there's a lot of H-2B fraud going on, and this is where I do represent H-2B visa holders. In that there are some employers out there they represent to immigration that yes, they have all this work and they need all these workers. The workers come under the employer sponsorship, but the real motive of the employer is to basically move this immigrant worker around to other people, contract them out to other people, which is a form of labor trafficking. Now, if in the case where the worker is induced by fraud to come work for somebody, they don't have work for them, that is fraud. And I'm pretty sure your sister would have never volunteered to work in the H-2B program if she knew that there wasn't going to be sufficient work to go around. So that has led to labor trafficking relief for my clients. So have your sister should be getting legal advice about what's going on. Another thing is you don't want your sister to end up being accused of visa fraud because she's really the victim here. And so getting T status based on this form of labor trafficking can protect your sister from being accused of fraud, and instead she would be able to get her papers and move on and get freedom from that situation. Okay, so you do have to schedule a consultation. So when you call, you schedule a consultation. Um, Okay, so here again, they collected her money, drawed fees for housing, then transfer the money to account. Sometimes she don't get paid until 2 to 3 days after. She needs to call me. There is something really wrong going on here, and we need to talk. H-2B workers do have specific rights, and it sounds here like they're not adhering to the legal rights that your sister should have. So there is relief for this. Even if you're here on a visa, but the employer isn't doing what they're supposed to do. They're abusing their position as your sponsor. They're supposed to be your only employer, but they're moving you around all over the place, or they're not giving you the hours that they promised, that they put in their contract. This is a big sign of red flag for labor trafficking. Your sister can get relief and get freedom from this. So give us a call. How much is a consult? $150. All right, so let me go. I'm on TikTok again. I'm gonna answer some questions and then head out. Um, what can be done if name is spelled incorrectly on I-485 receipt notice? Call them and let them know so that they can have it corrected. False claim of U.S. citizen in 1995. Do I have a waiver? So when there's a false claim of US citizenship, there is no waiver. However, you did say 1995, so I'd have to check the policy manual on the date, because I believe the false claim to US citizenship, if it occurred on or before a specific year or date, then it may not apply. There may not be a bar, but I'd have to look at the date. But give us a call, let's talk. My asylum got approved last week. Should I apply for green card now or wait 1 year? Congratulations. So I believe that there is the policy now, and this is where though it's very important because I am not your lawyer and I can't give you personalized legal advice until you're sitting in a consultation with me. But if, right now, the new policy is that if you've waited over a year, you've been in the country for over a year, you can then apply for the green card. But make sure you confirm that in a consultation. What can be done being protected under the I-254 to adjust status? So I'm thinking you're talking about um, the amnesty. So I'm not sure what the I-254 is, but I'm thinking you're referring to amnesty. And in that case, it means that even if you enter the country without permission, you can apply for this. So this protection. So it's 245I. So it's 245I. This is a section 245I that allows you to still move forward with adjustment of status if you if they can show that you are qualified for it. Now, usually you have to show that there was a petition or labor certification filed on or before April 30th, 2001. And then in some cases, if you enter the country after, I believe it was 1998, you have to also show physical presence between a certain period of time. So this is where it's very important to make sure that you schedule time to talk But the main thing we look out for is, did you have a previous petition that was filed on or before that date? And if so, then you may qualify for it. Whether or not it got approved, it just has to be approvable, even if there was no decision. I terminated my case. Currently, I applied USCIS. I want to go to court. I have a strong case. So I know this is a tough one. And, yes, when you have a strong case, that it's a big problem. But you can't exactly go back to the court and force your way back into, you would have to force them to issue a notice to appear for deportation. So, that's a tough one. Good afternoon. Can you give the process time breakdown for T status? So processing time is 12 months once we apply for the T status. My asylum got approved, so I answered that. If you work for a company, can they make you a petition? Yes. Well, here's the problem. If you're working for the company and you don't already have your papers, that's a problem. And the answer would be no, they couldn't petition for you. They could petition for you, but you wouldn't get through with a green card through adjustment of status. If if you already have your papers and they want to then apply for your green card, yes, they can. Can you explain, please, a new program for Lebanese passport? So this is the DED. So this is where, because of the conflict that's going on in between, I believe it's Israel and Lebanon right now. There's a lot of conflict. They have implemented a sort of status. So it's similar to TPS, where you're allowed to stay here through I believe deferred enforcement, where you can stay here, get a work permit, and get protection from deportation until the conflict there's no more conflict, there's stability again, then they'll pull that. And there's usually an expiration date of like 18 months. Can I apply for asylum if I came on a visitor's visa when I was 8 and now 25 with TPS status? You usually have to apply for asylum within 1 year of your entry, so it's a very long time now that has passed to apply for asylum. But you have TPS, and I know TPS asylum does lead to the green card. TPS does have certain protections, but we'd have to understand your situation to see if there's anything else we could do, any other alternatives, or if there could be an exception for you to apply for asylum. Is it possible that my I-130 and I-485 will be approved soon as well? It depends on what the circumstances are, and who you're applying through. So it depends. But if you want further information, always give us a call. Let's talk and give you advice about it. If I'm a T visa holder, can I petition my child over 21? Unless the trafficker directly threatened your son or daughter who's 21 or older, then the answer would be no. Do you need an affidavit of support for T? Absolutely not. No. I'm a green card holder with travel document. My travel document expires September. Can I travel? Why are you a green card holder with a travel document? I guess that would be my question. As a green card holder, you're supposed to be able to use your green card to travel. So, how long does the perm application take to be approved for the green card? I'd say a year and a half to 2 years right now, and the and that's when the priority date is current. Can you do a waiver if you sponsor a child in another country? No, in the US. Waivers is going to depend. This is where you need to definitely schedule an appointment and let's talk. How long are our cases taking? For the work permit, you're looking at 6 to 12 months. And then for the green card, the entire process is about 2.5 to 3 years. Have a defective notice to appear from Homeland Security. That's definitely going to take a personalized consultation. How long to get work permit and travel documents after T? There's no travel document that comes with a T. You do have to take the steps to apply for that separately after you get approved. About a year though to get the work permit after approval. So after the approval of the T takes about a year, and then you get your work permit right after the approval. I applied for I-360 in February and I never get anything yet. Is it a normal? No, that's not normal. You want to check to make sure that they have not, that it wasn't lost in the mail, that they did send it, or that they did get it. So you want to make sure. All right, that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks, everyone. Is there really a USCIS backlog, or are they just being biased towards certain countries or individuals? I would say there is there. I mean, This took years. This backlog took years to pile up, right? And I mean, from Obama, it was bad. Then it got worse. Then it got worser. So it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a while to clear it out. I see it getting better from my perspective. I do see it getting better, but I understand the frustration. Does it matter when the work abuse occurred upon first entry to the US or during the time you were here? So if you left the country, there may be issues with that. So, call us, let's talk. But leaving the country after being mistreated could be a problem. Good afternoon. How do you get the T status? By calling us first, talking to us about your situation, and then we can tell you once we determine you qualify, we can tell you because it's going to take another half an hour to talk about that. But you can always go to the videos and you'll see information there about the process as well. And I'll come on and talk about it another time, but I am about to head out. I'm just trying to answer questions quickly. All right, thanks everyone. Now remember that there's Attorney Bria and I. So yes, our schedules are it's piling up. It's booked. We're getting booked out, which is great because it means that you are taking the steps to get the help. So we're excited. Today alone, I just told multiple people that they do qualify for relief, and I'm very excited to move forward with their cases. And this is after they've been here. These two people have been here for many years trying to figure it out. So we've come up with a solution for them, and that's our goal, is to help as many people who thought they didn't have options, and now they know they have options. All right. So can USI use old fingerprints for new case? Absolutely. We just got a biometrics reuse notice just yesterday. So yes, they routinely reuse the fingerprints. Have a great one. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.